All right, let's start here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us today. On behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme and the Cool Coalition, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Cool Talks, our webinar series bringing together policymakers, practitioners, and experts working to accelerate sustainable cooling solutions. Today's session will focus on a topic that is becoming increasingly central to both climate and energy policy, National Cooling Action Plans, or NCAPs, and how they can help translate global commitments into practical implementation frameworks. But before we begin, let me just give you a few quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded and it will be shared on the Cool Coalition website and also on the YouTube channel. All participants are muted to ensure good sound quality. And if you have questions, please feel free to submit them at any time through the Q&A function, and we will address as many as possible during the discussion toward the end of the session. Let me start with where we are today. Through the Global Cooling Pledge, 74 countries and 225 cities have committed to reducing cooling-related emissions by 68% by mid-century. So political momentum is clearly growing. Cooling is becoming one of the fastest growing uses of energy globally, and in regions such as the Middle East and North Africa, access to sustainable cooling is essential for human health and human comfort, food security, economic productivity, and climate resilience. National cooling action plans provide governments with a strategic framework to address these challenges. They help countries define a long-term vision for sustainable cooling, set concrete and measurable targets, and coordinate policies across different sectors, such as building, refrigerator, cold chains, and air conditioning systems, while at the same time supporting commitments under the Paris Agreement and the Kigali Amendment. Recognizing the specific needs of the region, UNEP and the Cool Coalition, together with the Regional Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, RCREEE, and other partners, and with the financial support of the Climate and Cleaner Coalition, have worked closely with experts from across the MENA region to develop a contextualized NCAP methodology tailored to regional conditions. This framework adapts the global methodology, which was also developed by the Cool Coalition, to the regional particular cooling challenges and opportunities, providing countries with practical guidance to design and implement their national cooling strategies. This methodology provides a structured approach to developing NCAPs, starting with an assessment of the national cooling landscape, followed by the identification of priority sectors, and finalizing with an implementation framework to ensure long-term impact. Today's webinar is an opportunity to present this NCAP methodology, exchange experience, and discuss how countries in the region can accelerate the transition towards efficient, climate-friendly, and accessible cooling solutions. We look forward to a productive discussion and to continuing our collaboration with all of you to advance sustainable cooling across the MENA region. With that, it's my pleasure to hand over to our moderator today, my colleague Amer Slim, Country Engagement and Climate Policy Lead at the UNEP Cool Coalition, who will guide today's discussion. Amer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Roberto. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you. My name is Amer Slim, and I'm really glad to be your moderator today. We have a wide array of distinguished experts and country representatives to speak today about the topic of the National Cooling Action Plans, especially for contextualized region like the MENA, the Middle East and North Africa region. We are going to start with the first part of the discussion, and we are going to welcome the three dear colleagues and friends. We will start by Dr. Moza Noaimi. She's the an engineering expert and the Minister of Energy and Minister of Infrastructure in the United Arab Emirates, followed by Dr. Mona Ben Barak. She's the head of ozone and gases at the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Transition, at the government of Morocco. And then we'll be followed by Dr. Mustafa Hassanin, the senior energy expert, a sustainable energy expert at the RCREEE. Today, as Roberto just said, we have launched the National Cooling Action Plan contextualized methodology for the MENA. And I would like to ask you really a couple of questions to express how this methodology has been useful, how this methodology has been a core work of several key stakeholders, and also government representatives who advised this methodology, who provided guidance to this methodology, especially to the leading authors and of this methodology. With that, I would like to start first with the UAE, Dr. Moza. And can you please share with us how this regional methodology can be of use to the countries in the region, especially for a leading country in the region on the sustainable cooling, like the United Arab Emirates? How actually this also methodology has been tailored to utilize the contextualization and the regional aspects of the region of the MENA. And also maybe you can provide some insights on the status quo of the United Arab Emirates on the implementation and formulation of the NCAP. Over to you, Dr. Moser.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amr. It's great to be here with you. Actually, the National Cooling Action Plan, or the NCAP, play a crucial role in helping governments managing the rapidly growing cooling demand, because they provide a structured framework that connects multiple policies domains. So the energy planning, the building regulation, and the urban developments. So from our perspective in UAE, the NCAP are particularly very valuable because cooling is not simply an appliances or a technology issue. It is a system-wide challenge that affects electricity demand, the infrastructure investment, and the climate objectives. So I will try to summarize it in three main points. So the NCAPs actually create a common national roadmap. They help align the objectives of energy authorities, municipalities, and the planning entities around a shared vision for managing cooling demand. These alignments ensure that policies such as building energy codes, appliances standards, and the demand-side managements for energy efficiency work together rather than in isolation. So the second point is that the NCAP enables integrated planning across sectors. For example, cooling demand projection can be incorporated into the long-term electricity planning, renewable energy deployment strategies, and the grid resilience planning. At the same time, urban planning authorities can integrate the passive cooling design, the green urban spaces, and the district cooling infrastructure into the city developments plans. So the last point is the NCAP improve the governance and the coordination mechanism. So cooling sits an intersection of several institutions. A national plan helps define the roles, establish a coordination, a platform, and align implementation timelines across the ministries and the agencies. So in general, Amr, in UAE, this integrated approach has been a key to how we address cooling demand. Under, of course, the leadership of the Ministry of Energy Infrastructure, we work closely with the municipalities, the utilities, and the standards authorities across UAE to align building efficiency standards, energy planning, and the demand-side management measures. So this kind of coordination normally allows us to reduce peak electricity demand and improve the resilience. So initiatives such as the work with the UNEP Cool Coalition are extremely valuable in supporting countries across the region and adapting a systematic approach. The last point, the NCAP help shift cooling policy from a narrow efficiency discussion toward a strategic infrastructure and climate planning, ensuring that growing cooling demand is managed in a more sustainable and coordinated way. So that's it from my side, Amr. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Moza. And actually, you spotted a very important critical element, which is the governance. And for those who are not familiar with the National Cooling Action Plans, the early step and the initial step that any government can do is, of course, to establish an interministerial committee. As Dr. Moza clarified, to have a committee among all of the ministers. Sometimes even I would like to hear this point from Dr. Mona. Sometimes it will reach up to 11 and 15 ministers are taking part of developing and formulating this action plan. So right now, Dr. Mona, I would like to invite you to address one of the questions, given your role as a focal point for the development of the Morocco's National Cooling Action Plan. We have been working together for almost 1 year. If you can guide us a little bit on what key lessons that the country has already benefit from, and what kind of concrete policies and implementation that you have on the ground. I remember when we have already launched the work almost, I would say 9 months ago, like last May in Morocco. And across that, I remember there were like 12 ministers have joined your
steering committee. Yeah,
exactly, steering committee, and then we went through different stages. So right now, the floor is yours to provide the lessons learned and the policies on the ground.
Thank you, Dr. Anne. Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Please excuse my English as I'm French speaker, but I will do my best. Today, I will share Morocco's experience in NCAP. Just a quick note before I begin. The deliverables are still being finalized and validated. So I won't be presenting the result today, but I will still share the main progress so far. And it will be a pleasure to present the final validated version in a future session. So, about the National Cooling Action Plan for Morocco. Next slide, please. As we know, like many countries in the MENA region, Morocco faces pressing challenges, population growth, high temperature, rapid urbanization, and growing demand for cooling. So the cooling is a major strategic issue in terms of public health, food security, energy performance, and the fight against climate change. But it represents a growing energy and climate change. But it represents a growing energy and climate change often underestimated in sectoral policies, even though they play a cross-cutting role in the residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, fishing, and transport sectors. And we have associated direct and indirect emissions. Sorry, because stem from both energy consumption, diesel and electricity, and non-energy emissions related to refrigerants. Next slide, please. So, Morocco's participation in the Global Cooling Pledge launched at COP28 enables it to commit to sustainable cooling through concrete actions. By committing to this initiative, Morocco aims to strengthen its position as a leader in the region for the adoption of environmentally friendly policies and practices, and its effort to implement its NDC. Among the commitments, the NCAP is an essential framework designed to help countries meet their cooling needs while minimizing environmental impacts. Let's talk about the Moroccan experience for NCAPs. It's let me say that in 2021 we have the first output for from our partnership with the CCAC. We elaborate our action plan targeting short-life climate pollutants that it was developed in 2021, and our NCAP it's another output. It's the continuation of the implementation process for this action plan, and it's a part of a global projects on cooling in the MENA region, and it's with a partnership with UNEP Cool Coalition and the RCREEE. For the objectives of the Moroccan NCAP is to meet the growing demand for cooling, to increase the energy efficiency of cooling equipment, and to encourage the use of natural and low GWP refrigerants. and also to promote equitable access to cooling, and finally to align national policies with our international commitments. I will talk about there are many components in this project, but I will emphasize the main components. So we have the data collection and analysis, and we have the modeling and development of NCAP. And 2014 to 2050, it was the period covered to ensure consistency with low carbon strategy and with the climate commitments of Morocco. Go ahead, please. So for the progress of Moroccan NCAP project, we start by a kickoff workshop. And after that, we had, as we said, we established a steering committee. We had a meeting with this steering committee, and we adopt a participatory approach by integrating also the private sector. And we had a meeting with the industrial sector. Here in Morocco, we have the association with the well-known association is the Moroccan Association of Refrigeration Professionals, EMPF, because it's important to have the public sector and the private sector. And for this one, we discussed like opportunities, challenges, the constraints, and to develop the partnership for the project. So for the main components, let's start by the data collection mission. We did for the NCAP tool, we did the country context mapping, including the cooling demand and the infrastructure and markets. And we for another phase, we have another component, we have the NCAP planning. So we have like a mapping of all stakeholders, governmental, technical, consumers, private sectors, and technology suppliers. And we have for the activity consuming cold and air conditioning, we emphasize the sectoral data, and we talk about the characteristic size of the activity expressed in quantity of raw material or finished products, the area or volume or number of overnight stays, and the energy intensities. And for sectors, all this data coming from the steering committees, from the sector of fisheries, socio-economic, industry, health, energy, tertiary sector, and agriculture. Agriculture, it includes milk collection and slaughterhouses. And finally, the refrigeration, gases and air conditioning. The other main components, the second phase, we have, after collecting all this data by the, how to say, consultancy and in coordination with the steering committee, the modeling was done, and we start by analysis of demand and greenhouse gas emissions for baseline. The second one, it was modelization to evaluate the future cooling demand scenarios, energy efficiency improvements, and the refrigerant transition. And after that, we assess impact of various actions on emissions and energy consumptions. And also, we evaluate for the opportunity of job creation potential and even investment opportunities in different sectors, public policy recommendation for sustainable cooling, and in important one, monitoring and governance framework. So we can say that the Morocco's NCAP, Morocco's NCAP consolidates it's an operational and give a coherent vision of the transition to sustainable cooling, and the approach, which was integrated, it was based on 4 guiding principles: energy sobriety, energy efficiency, decarbonization, equity, resilience. And maybe now I will not present I didn't present the final results, but I can say our NCAP it was combining like a progressive but a binding strength, like some recommendations or some results: progressive but binding strengthening of minimum energy performance standards, MEPS, and market compliance mechanism. Also an accelerated transition to low GWP refrigerants, supported by obligation of leak control, recovery, and end-life management. We can say that the integration of cooling and thermal comfort into building codes in order to reduce need at the sources, like bioclimatic design, building envelope, and passive solution. And also target several sectoral actions, particularly in the modernization and decarbonization on agriculture, food, cold chain, and finally the activation of technological levers, like as we say, high performance equipment, digitalization, renewable energy, and absolutely the financial levers like incentive for energy performance contracts, climate action to scale up investments. So the last next slide, please. I can say that the implementation of NCAP will have positive effects on climate, health, and air quality. And the key lessons from Morocco experience in translating this national cooling strategy into action. I can say that the NCAP it defines objective for energy efficiency, climate impact reduction, and sustainable cooling across sectors. And it's a framework which it helps align ministries, utilities, and private actors toward common goals. And a second thing, that it's strong institutional coordination between all these sectors. And that's the big input when we establish the steering committee. Even we have the consultants for the data collection, for modeling, but the fact that we established the steering committee, it's they are enhancing, they are amending, they are how do we say, there are many inputs for this data collection, for reviewing some things and updating the data. And the third one is the integration into urban planning and large projects. It's in because it's very important to link with the urban planning and other sectoral projects. And
I'm sorry to stop you because we are running out of time and we need to.
It's also okay. I'm going fast. So just we need like financial and technical incentives to success the implementation, and it's important to talk about the capacity building and awareness. And finally, the data-driven decision-making, because monitoring and evaluation of energy use and cooling demand and modeling and action is crucial to adapt strategies at different levels. And thank you. Sorry.
Many thanks. This will pave the way for the implementation and attraction of more investments. And Morocco has been really successful to engage many of the private sector, and we had several field visits in the Rabat and also in the Casablanca to see how the private can support you, the private sector, in the implementation. Thank you very much, Dr. Mona, and also for the audience. Morocco is one of the, I would say, even the first country to have the modeling. Remember the two components using the LEAP, the low emission platform, as a model. And hopefully this can be also used and replicated by other countries. Right now, moving to Dr. Mustafa again, I hope that you can join us and present quickly the methodology and reflect how it's different and how it can really contextualize to the region. Over to you, Mustafa.
Thank you, Amr, for your organization, and also it's a great opportunity to thank Dr. Mona, our partner in Morocco, for her great efforts as the first country to implement the regional NCAP. So, from the perspective of the MENA NCAP methodology, so we could here talking about three high-level principles, which the methodology also built on it. First, we are talking about fostering diverse cooling alternatives. Yes. And then secondly, we are also talking about reducing dependency on energy intensive applications. And lastly, supporting climate mitigation. So if we ensure that we could do this type of coherence between the two or the three high level pillars, so we are talking now about a complete national cooling action plan and the full accommodate with the energy security and decarbonization efforts. This is also from our work at RCREEE here. So to see the targets in the next maybe 10 years, what's going on each sector, on the sectorial level regarding the consumption, also the CO2 emissions. And if we reflect it on the past, this curve, this graph or this chart is from the IEA recent report regarding the electricity demand and the demand growth by the end use in the Middle East, North Africa. So this is maybe the past 10 years, and also we have the future. We have the past and the future. If we do this type of analysis, we could see the importance of concentrating on the national cooling action plans and also the potential for reducing maybe the CO2 emissions and also the electricity consumption. Next slide, please. Here we are talking about the all cold chains subsectors, and also this is one of the maybe strongest point that the MENA NCAP covers, because also before doing these guidelines or the methodology for the NCAP, we are talking about just to finalize maybe the electricity consumption or the energy consumption for one or two sectors only. But for the MENA NCAP, usually we are using the full cold chain sectors, which could also reflect on the enhancement, maybe the future or the scenarios that developed by the data modeling, which Amr reflect on the beginning. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is also one of our analysis which we done in some countries in the MENA region. We could see what's going on from the regulations, the policies for energy efficiency, the codes, the specific cooling legislations and the codes, and also the cooling demand sectors, the financing opportunities, and also we have a very fruitful session today about the financing opportunities, and also the implemented projects and what is the visibility if we are talking about the district cooling studies. What's the visibility assessment there in the region? And also we extend this study to cover also the passive cooling and also the energy efficiency building codes, everything in the region, to see the opportunities of enhancement in each country. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is mainly our work. This is a project funded by the Cool Coalition and the CCAC. We have three major pillars. One of them is to have the final version of the regional NCAP methodology for MENA region, and also applying the regional methodology for two different countries. The first country, as Amr mentioned, is Morocco. Morocco is the first country to apply the methodology in the region, and we also enjoyed the presentation from our partner, Dr. Mona. The second country is Djibouti. So we started this year with our colleagues at Djibouti, and also we will have the kickoff within 1 month from now. And we are ready also to finalize the NCAP, the second NCAP according to methodology this year, inshallah. The third option or the third pillar in the project is the capacity building and the policy integration between countries. And also I want to highlight here, maybe next slide, please. So I'm talking now about the MENA NCAP methodology, and this is the pillars, yeah, and this is the stages, all there, yeah. Please, next slide. Maybe also Maria shared with us the link for the MENA NCAP. Next slide, please. So I want just to highlight on the regional cooperation in the MENA NCAPs. Yeah, next slide, please. Maybe also, yes, this is one of the maybe major outcomes of our project, our cooperation in the project. So we have, first of all, the regional technical advisory group for NCAP in the MENA region. So this regional advisory group is concentrating mainly on sharing the opportunities and the highlights, and also they do this type of revision for the MENA NCAP. And also we want here to extend this technical advisory group to cover all sectors in different countries. So if you want to join us here, you could share with us your email, and I will write my email now on the chat box, so that we could add you with us from the MENA region to extend the expertise of the national technical advisory group. The second one is also we are developing every year a regional workshop to disseminate the regional methodology for national cooling action plan. So also we could invite you and the members from different states and countries to join us our progress. We have a very fruitful workshop this last year here in Cairo, but this year we will target another country in the MENA region. So you could also engage with us with your expertise, with your challenges, and also a lot of financial sessions and options will be in the table. This is all from my side, and thank you for this.
Indeed, thanks, Dr. Mustafa, for this fast track presentation. It was very insightful and informative. And also, it again highlights the main elements of the methodology itself. Also, it provides an overview of how the RCREEE has been working hand in hand with the 12 countries of the advisory group, how we established the institutional setup that's required to coordinate among different countries in the region. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa, and I'm sure that we have already got many questions on the methodologies, so please, you may help me and help
Sure. I will right now.
Yeah, while right now we move to the second half, apart from the methodology, we need to go for the implementation and the finance pathways for the NCAP. And that's the question, to be honest, whenever we approach a country, okay, I'm going to develop the NCAP, what comes next? So for this panel, we will have three another distinguished experts and speakers. I will start with first one, Dr. Samer Khudair, our engineer Samer Khudair. He's the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer of Empower. Empower stands for, of course, Emirates Central Cooling System Corporation. Every one of us has been in Dubai, and for sure you have been through the district cooling, all of the indoor facility, and even we feel always good when we go to malls, when we go to indoor buildings.
Good afternoon or good morning, whoever you are. Okay, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to present Empower, our UAE case study, and how the implementation being made after we move from beginning to the as we are at the moment. Just to go to next slide, please. Just again, we start as Dr. Moza have mentioned, okay, how the district cooling being moved here, taking into consideration that we have 70% of the power consumption is going for air conditioning. This is alerting percentage. The government have taken a lot of initial steps to make sure that okay, the private sector are using efficient cooling. We have limited scope for natural cooling, and the air conditioning in our area, it is a necessity. It's not luxury like other place on the world. So when you have a long temperature or high temperature, you know, on the summer, you know, we reach more than 46. The design, in fact, being made around 46 degrees Celsius, but we have touched a couple of hours during the years with more than that. So adopting, you know, the efficient cooling solution was on two sides. On the government support, okay, we have taken a lot of favorable policy and able to implement the district cooling. These are all done after all the studies, after all the data collection, being made and reached to that, okay, the district cooling was the solution for our area, where we have approximately can save 50% of any traditional air conditioning system. Next slide, please. Again, the favorite strategy by the government was in 4 main areas. Number 1 is UAE Net Zero 2050, UAE Energy Strategy 2050, Dubai Integrated Energy Strategy 2030, Dubai Clean Energy Strategy, and definitely with this is allowed to create many district cooling companies. However, again, government allowed us to create what you call district cooling operator association, where these district cooling provider can meet together and share the know-how, okay, and taking more and more advantage of knowledge coming from abroad, especially from USA or any other country where the district cooling or heating was implemented. On top of that, the demand side management strategy, giving that 30% saving by 2030 for electricity, and the 30% also on the water. This is target being put, okay, by the government, that we make sure that we all district cooling provider are able to attend and make sure that they achieve this target. Also, the efficient cooling was part of the 12 pillars, making sure that the cooling, efficient cooling are implemented across the country. The aim of the demand side management that to have 40% district cooling penetration by 2030, which is quite a stretch target, but we, with a favor policy, are able to create this. Next slide, please. Giving on the left hand of the present slide that the type of air conditioning available early days with us. We have the standard window AC air conditioning system, and after that the split unit, and after that went to the top rooftop chillers. Now, this was the air conditioning equipment available in our area, and it's been used widely till the district cooling come, and where it sit on top of all of these, okay, comparing to the traditional system, as you have, as I said, 50% reduction on the energy, free space on the roof of the building, and reduce CO2 emission. If you are talking about the concept, it's important other countries to understand what the concept of the district cooling, how it's work. Mainly, it's 4 element itself. Okay, it's the plant room where we generate the chilled water along with the thermal storage tank, and the network distribution underground, where we distribute the chilled water underground to the buildings, and after that the delivery point to the building itself. Okay, so it's a process, main process, where require all of these 4 elements and able to start the district cooling. With this principle, you generate the chilled water on central plant and distribute it to the buildings by 2 pipes, 1 supply, 1 return, and all of these are underground. Next slide, please. Giving benefit. This is the most important, point where any country need to understand who's going to be the beneficiary, what's going to be the main benefit of using district cooling. 50% reduction in power consumption. Each country, as you today have a challenge on upgrading their power plant and matching with the development. These are a lot of study being conducted to know how much the population increase year on year and what the demand for the power. So using the district cooling, save 50% of the power consumption, reduce the power green generation infrastructure related to the cabling, related to the power plant, and all of this stuff, reduce definitely the greenhouse gas emission. These are number 1 priority for any government side, any country side, how they can benefit from the district cooling. When we talk about now type of the air conditioning comparing to traditional system, it's again reduced capital, and less financial risk to the government, and long life cycle of the equipment. We are talking about between 30 to 50 years equipment life cycle, comparing to traditional system between 12 to 15 years. The industry itself, very reliable. We are talking about 99.94. In fact, now the latest numbers came from IDA, International District Energy Association. They are talking about 99.99, which is allowing, giving that the district cooling is a very reliable system. Add value to the building. You know, this is important that the building itself will be free of the equipment. You will not have the chiller put on the roof. That will reduce also vibration, noise level, and all of these. And also, it's going to be let people focus on their core business. You know, when we have, you know, in Dubai, you're probably aware that we have big hotel, big motel, big shopping malls, you know, where if you have your own cooling system, you know, they will carry out a lot of manpower and a lot of spare part and engineering to maintain this system. And district cooling, we allow the owner to focus on their core business, and they outsource the cooling, okay, from the service provider. Similarly, like the power, instead of generating their own power, they outsource the power from the power provider. Next slide. Giving about Empower, to give you light how we grow and how we reach at the moment. We established in 2003, so the company almost 23 years old. We are end-to-end service provider. We are from the time we generate the chilled water up to the collecting from the end user. Empower today is the world's largest district cooling service providers with more than 1.7 million ton connected capacity. Just to give you scale, Burj Khalifa, 10,000 ton. So if we say 1.7 million tons, that means 170 of Burj Khalifa are in our portfolio. We are a listed company on November 2022. As I mentioned before that, please take back. Yeah, just to give you scale on the again number of customers, we transferred the business from B2B to B2C. So we have 156,000 customers where they receive our bill through SMS and email, and they pay, create payment gateway, allow them to pay. We have 1,750 buildings are connected with us, and these type of building on all type of application. We have residential, we have commercial, we have a mall, we have airport, Dubai airport, and 22% of Dubai hotels are connected with us. Total number of plant rooms, we have 90 plant rooms in operation and 430 kilometers network underground. These are type of project. You probably, whoever visit Dubai, have seen these type of project available. We have Business Bay, we have DIFC, we have Dubai Airport, we have JPR area, we have World Trade Center. Total agreement we have in place, concession agreement in place, around 3 million ton. Out of the 3 million ton, we did 1.7 so far. So we are moving, okay, ahead on the implementing district cooling widely. Next slide.
Thank you. Yeah. Engineer Samir, unfortunately, we're running out of time, and we still have. Yeah.
This is last slide, okay, just to show, because people want to know what the district cooling look like, how the plant look like. These are plant room we are putting. We create also a good look for the plant room, so people don't see that this is industrial application. No, it is matching with the theme of the development. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Engineer Samir, for really showing us like how the district cooling looks like, how also like Empower is following the strategy of the United Arab Emirates and the different kinds of national policy that they have. And also, I fully understand that you are part of the committee that's supporting the development of the current NCAP. It's really great to see how the array of the stakeholders are coming together, including private sector, including non-state actors, etc., to formulate and even go for the implementation. With that, I would like to move now to our next distinguished expert, Dr. Jalal Shabshub. It's an honor to have and you are the Chief Investment Officer of the African Development Bank. And today I would like to discuss one of the important questions that all of the countries are asking to us once we bring the NCAP topic. What types of projects or policy signal that make NCAPs investable? From your perspective, I know that you started at your division to support countries on development NCAP. What could be the next step that you would like to see, and also what can make it more interesting for the bank to invest into the implementation?
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Amr. It's my pleasure to speak about how the African Development Bank is helping advance more sustainable cooling agenda in Africa, with a particular focus on ongoing activities and in the MENA region, and especially on NCAP. In the bank, our consideration that cooling is no longer a secondary issue in the energy transition. It is now at the center of the development agenda. Across Africa, rising temperature, rapid urbanization, expanding middle-class demand are mainly, among other changes, that driving a sharp increase in cooling needs. If this demand is not properly planned, it can place major pressure on the electricity system, increase peak load, raise costs for consumer and utilities, and certainly lock countries into inefficient technologies. One of the most concrete examples to share with you from the MENA region is the ongoing technical preparatory work that the bank is providing for the sustainable district heating and cooling system at the Bab Saadun Medical Complex in Tunis. This is a very important initiative because it moves the discussion from general policy to practical implementation in a high-impact public facility. We are providing about $1 million technical assistance through the climate, $1 million technical assistance through the Climate Investment Fund. And the African Development Bank is supporting the preparatory studies for the implementation of sustainable district heating and cooling system. This is significant because, as indicated also by Mr. Amr, by Mr. Samer earlier, district cooling and heating can help reduce system-wide electricity demand, improve efficiency compared with base standalone equipment. And for the bank, this is important to demonstrate the replicable model for hospitals and other large urban public infrastructure. This work on the DHC matter also for other reasons. It shows that cooling can and should be integrated in the urban energy planning. Hospitals are among the most cooling incentives public facilities. By preparing modern district energy solution for a major medical complex, this initiative is helping Tunisia to build local experience in planning, technical design, and future scaling of integrated cooling infrastructure. In other words, Bab Saadun is not only a study site, it is potentially a national demonstration project for Africa. A second key area the bank is focusing on is the support to develop NCAP and national cooling planning agenda. Africa countries started increasingly positioned cooling with a broader policy framework that links climate action, energy efficiency, refrigerant transition, and building performance. And also regional and international work carried out in Africa has highlighted the importance of national cooling action plan or national cooling development plan as the tool to connect the Kigali Amendment, energy policy, energy efficiency policy, and national climate commitment. This is exactly the direction that need to be supported. As already highlighted by the preceding speakers, the NCAP is not just a policy document. It is a tool for coordinating actions across ministries, utilities, standard bodies, the private sector, and also the financial institution. It helps countries answer very practical questions. Where will future cooling demand come from? How can peak load be controlled? What standards should apply to equipment? What incentives are needed? How can vulnerable households and essential services gain access to affordable and efficient cooling? So supporting this planning process is therefore essential to ensure that future cooling demand is met in a way that is efficient, climate friendly, and aligned with national development objectives. To this end, and as you know, Amr, the African Development Bank is providing a technical assistance to Tunisia to develop their own national cooling action plan, and expecting also to add some other countries to the list. The third focus area that I would like to highlight is the preparation of efficient cooling appliances program in Africa. This is also particularly important because room air conditioning and refrigerators are among the fastest growing electricity consuming appliances, and they strongly impact the peak demand. In many countries across Africa, market assessment showed both the growing importance of air conditioning and the opportunity to accelerate programs that expand the adoption of efficient appliances. As an example, in Egypt, the bank is providing technical assistance to design and implement an energy-efficient cooling appliances program, focusing mainly on two equipment, the refrigerators and the air conditioning. The study is at its final stage. We believe that the appliances agenda is critical and important. When such programs are well designed, they can combine standard, labeling, market surveillance, consumer awareness, concessional financing, and also utility-based incentives. That is why preparation work in Egypt and other countries across Africa is so strategic for the bank. It creates the basis for large-scale market transformation, not only as pilot actions. Taken together, these three work streams tell a coherent story. At the BEP Sadoun, we are support for flagship infrastructure model through the National Cooling Development Agenda in Egypt and Tunisia, and especially in Tunisia for the NCAP. We see support for policy and planning, and through the efficient cooling appliances program in Egypt, we see the groundwork for market transformation at scale. This is the right approach, combining infrastructure, policy, and appliances to address cooling demand in an integrated way. So to conclude, I want to say that cooling demand will continue to rise in Africa. And at the African Development Bank, we are supporting countries to avoid the path that this increasing demand will translate into higher cost, higher emission, and higher peak load, and rather to translate it into smarter system, better services, and more resilient economies. So I guess I have to stop here. So let me stop and give you back the floor, Amr. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Galal, for all of this, I would say, comprehensive insights. It's truly a pleasure to work with you in the case of Tunisia in this regard. And also highlighting this, I think this will signal lots of interest from the African countries. We have a pool of countries who are keen really to apply and to take the support that African Development Bank can provide to countries to formulate and even go for the implementation. And even I see here already a colleague from Ethiopia already expressed interest in this. So hopefully we can take this forward. Thank you, Dr. Galal. Right now, moving for the important part where we cannot do everything and we always have partners hand in hand, and that's the beauty and the power of the UNEP Cool Coalition. I'm handing right now to Rosa Garcia. Rosa is a sincere colleague from the C4All. She's an energy efficiency and cooling specialist. We have been working together on incorporating cooling into the indices, also on the NCAP. Rosa, the question is, how can the NCAPs ensure that expanding access to cooling also address the equity, the affordability, building the climate resilience within the countries? And that's an important component, and I believe one of the questions also asked about it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Amir, and thanks to the UNEP Cool Coalition for organizing this event and leading the NCAP work. And this is a very important question because discussions around cooling often focus heavily on mitigation, which is very important, clearly, but it's incomplete. cooling demand is rising quickly, and if that demand is met with inefficient appliances and high global warming potential refrigerants, emissions will grow significantly. So yes, efficiency and refrigerant transitions matter. But if we focus only on mitigation, we risk missing the fact that today people are already suffering from heat and the lack of access to cooling. So NCAPs are very important because they help address both sides of this challenge, the mitigation and the adaptation challenge. They provide guidance on how to best design cooling interventions. So let me highlight 3 ways in which NCAPs contribute to equitable access to cooling. So first, they provide a comprehensive framework that recognizes both mitigation and adaptation, helping governments look at cooling holistically, acknowledging that cooling is not just about emissions, but also about people's exposure to heat and their ability to cope with it and thrive in a warming world. Because different populations experience heat very differently. Farmers, construction workers, pregnant women, children, the elderly, and so on. In our offices, at home, in hospitals, at schools, etc. And it is not the same if a household has electricity all day long or experiences frequent blackouts. It is not the same if electricity is technically available, but too expensive to run modern cooling devices. And it is not the same if a person lives in a well-designed building or in a poorly constructed housing that traps heat. The second is that NCAPs highlight the need for data to assess the scale of cooling, the cooling access gap. So this means understanding who still lacks access to cooling, where the biggest risks are, and what kind of risks people are facing, whether that is heat stress or unsafe food or unreliable access to medicines and vaccines. And at SE4All, we do an annual analysis to identify and quantify the population at risk due to the lack of access to cooling. And this analysis is available for 77 countries. And what we see is that this is not a small problem. Today, more than 1 billion people are at high risk, of which around 70% of these people are in poor urban settlements. And another 2.8 billion people are about to buy the cheapest available cooling solution, unfortunately, often inefficient. So these people are facing a combination of poverty, unreliable or no electricity, and extreme heat exposure. And for some, that can mean immediate heat stress or even death. For others, it means food spoiling, medicines becoming unsafe, or households getting locked into inefficient appliances that increase both energy bills and emissions. So NCAPs provide this important starting point, but governments need to go further. They need to assess what data and resources are available to truly understand the scale of the access gap and identify where the greatest needs lie. And this is essential for designing interventions that are properly targeted, equitable, and responsive to the actual cooling needs of the population. This can also help identify the financial mechanisms that are most likely to work in different contexts. And at the same time, it is important to link this analysis with a broader energy planning. So efforts to expand cooling access are aligned with electricity access, grid capacity, and affordability. And my last point is about how NCAPs provide policy direction that helps to mobilize investment and target interventions. And just as Jared was mentioning, this is important because the NCAPs have to reflect the direction a country is taking on cooling. And this creates confidence for private sector investment. And it's important to say that equitable access to cooling doesn't mean to ensure that everyone has an air conditioner at home. It means that people can have access to the cooling services they need through the solutions that are sustainable, affordable, and appropriate to the context. And those can be passive cooling measures, fans, community cooling spaces, cold chains, or efficient active cooling technologies. And this distinction matters because the goal is not simply more equipment. The goal is to reduce heat stress, protect health and livelihoods, and do so in a way that doesn't deepen inequality or emissions. And this is also important for investment. The Cooler Finance report finds that the market for sustainable cooling in developing economies will more than double over the next 25 years. So the NCAPs can help ensure that this growth supports equitable access and resilience rather than only increasing sales. So yeah, thanks, Samir.
Thank you, Rosa, very much for the insights and for all of the efforts that C4All is doing, especially on the vulnerability and the vulnerable communities and formulating the NCAPs together. Hopefully, we can also copy this model that we have done for MENA for the SIDS together and also replicate this for more of the small island states along with the C4All partnership. With that, I would like to thank all of the distinguished panelists for all of your insights, your time, and information that you shared. With this, I would like to move to Roberto to provide the concluding remarks. I hope we answered, and correct me, Marie-Sophie, my colleague, if we have dismissed any of the questions. I think we addressed all of them. If there are any further questions, please feel free to email us. Unfortunately, we're over time, but it's a very important topic. I see lots of interest, and that's really something we can consider holding another cool talk on that topic as well. Thanks. Over to you, Roberto.
Thank you, Amer, and thank you very much to all our speakers for sharing their insights today and to everyone who joined us for this discussion on the importance of national cooling action plans as practical tools to transition to sustainable cooling. We are late, we already passed the hour, but before we close, just a couple of brief announcements. A summary article and the recording of this session will be published shortly on the UNEP Cool Coalition website, so please feel free to revisit the discussion and share it with colleagues if you wish. And also, we would like to invite you to join our next Cool Talk, which is Cooling Beyond Cities, Scaling Rural Space Cooling and Thermal Comfort, which will take place on 31st of March. Thank you once again for joining us today and for your continued engagement in advancing sustainable cooling. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.